Thank you, Olivia. I request Reverend Brother Albert, President of Gnosis, to give the welcome address.
I take this opportunity to welcome you all. According to the guidance of the United Nations, every year the world is celebrating 21st of September as International Peace Day. And last 2 years we are in a great pandemic, which made the whole world to be in separate places, and also especially in a lockdown. And most of our relatives and the friends were no more with us. And this great situation, the National Human Rights Commission of India, they published a data saying there are a number of conflicts were arise comparing with the previous years than this pandemic time. There are a lot of domestic violence happen during this lockdown period. And 99% of the conflict arises during this lockdown among the young couples, especially the married people, age of 18 to 30 years. So this International Peace Day welcome us to create a better world based on the equitable and sustainable world. So today's discussion also will encourage us to understand what is peace and how the religious are promoting peace, how this lockdown we can avoid having a conflict between our relatives or between the one whom we are living in. So in this occasion, I'm very happy to welcome respected Reverend Wytske Dijkstra, former president of IARF. And I am well privileged that I had an opportunity to work with her 2010 to 2014. We were together working for an international organization called International Association for Religious Freedom, IARF. And 2014 to 2018, she was elected as a president. And during this period, she had an opportunity to visit India and encouraging youth of Telangana and Madhya Pradesh and Bangalore, and encouraging the youth to organizing a number of human rights and interfaith events. And I am very happy to welcome Dr. Wytske Dijkstra for today's event. And on behalf of Sundance College of Hyderabad and Gnosis, and all the participants and the faculty of Sundance, I welcome Dijkstra for today's sharing. I also would like to welcome Ms. Poppy Devinath, the director of Center for Women's Studies, Sundance Women's College, who is the key person taking the responsibility to host today's event. Very dynamic person. And every year we can find Sundance, a College of Women, having a number of national and international programs organized by Ms. Poppy Devinath, and such an eminent person and having a great experience in women's studies. And I'm very happy to welcome Ms. Poppinath for today's event. I also would like to welcome Ms. Olivia Thomas, the director of Gnosis, who is involving promote a peace and interfaith in India, especially in South India, and contributing this peace from the grassroots level. I'm happy to welcome Ms. Olivia. I also welcome Ms. Shilpa, the coordinator of Gnosis, and also all the faculties of Sundance Women's College, who always encouraging our volunteers, and also always backbone for Center for Women's Studies, hosting many programs. So I welcome all the faculties of Sundance Women's College, including the principal. Welcome. And I also would like to welcome all the participants, students of Sundance Women's College, and also the participants from different states for today's event. And I also would welcome Dr. Brown, the former principal of the college from Sindhwara, Madhya Pradesh, the council member of International Council member of IARF for today's event. And welcome, sir. Once again, I welcome everyone for today's event. And I hope this event will be more fruitful, having an open discussion with Reverend Wytske Dijkstra. And she has 1 hour, 30 minutes time. And the presentation can be 45 to 1 hour. Then we will have 15 to 20 minutes for open question discussion with her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. To enlighten us with the theme of recovering better for an equal sustainable world, we have with our speaker, Reverend of Mennonite Congregation, Netherlands. She served Reformed, Liberal, Mennonite, and independent congregations, as well as hospital and care homes, preaching as a minister at large. She plays an informal role with the International Association for Religious Freedom, where her experience and knowledge of the complex network of the association is much sought after. She is one of the IARF's representative at United Nations. Her career with IARF started in 1998, serving the Dutch chapter. She served IARF as an IARF International Council member from 2010 to 2014, and went on a serve as a second term as IARF president 2014 to 2018. During her office, she has invited to visit several IARF groups in India. It was her second visit to the country, the occasion of 33rd IARF World Congress in Kochi, 2010 being the first. We welcome you, ma'am. It is a tradition to welcome our guests with green sapling. We welcome you, ma'am, with virtual green greeting. Next slide, please.
Thank you very much for your, and foremost for the invitation itself. I'm very happy to revive my India network. I think I see already 2 people that I have met before, as you mentioned, Brother Albert Xavier, and also Surendra Brown, whom I met in India when on my second visit. So it's an honor to be with people who have devoted the greater part of their lives to the constant strive for equality and peace. So I'm happy to be in this illustrious meeting as well. So and thanking UGNOSIS and the Center for Women's Studies, SJCC and its Harmony Club, if I'm not mistaken, and CARE, and all the others who have contributed. St. Anne's College, of course, because it's hosting apparently, or at least hosting the Zoom, I'm sure. And yes, Brother Albert has been my fellow IARF member and host of my visit to India in 2017 too, when I was president of the IARF. Is the sound all right? Can you follow me? Any more? Yeah? Okay, yes, no problems. Thank you. So first, I'd like to say a little bit more about this International Association for Religious Freedom. It's now 120 years, 21 years old, and it is an association of religious groups with a focus on freedom of conscience. So Indian groups were among its founding members already 121 years ago in 1900. And there are, the point of this association is that all the groups that are member groups in the association allow complete freedom of conscience among its founding, among their own members, but they also wish this to be true for all the people all around the world. And so they have a sort of aim to shape society to allow for all the world's people to enjoy this freedom of conscience. Now, I think Brother Albert already has hinted that to allow freedom of conscience to everybody in this respect will also enhance peace and harmony, but maybe I will say a little bit about that later on, how it works. Because of this aim, the IARF has in the past developed a social service program, but they have also more recently developed a human rights education program. And this was particularly embraced in India. And it became a big thing, much bigger than when we started it, and much bigger than we could have done on our own in IARF. You notice that I'm still talking as if I am a member of, as if I'm a president of IARF, which I'm certainly not. So Surendra Brown will be able to confirm this. Anyhow, it was especially in India that this was developed. And the whole program was developed in mostly in India, and it was also embraced later on. So it grew. Was able to grow, and not in just in schools. It is an education program, but also it has been taken into villages. And this was, for me, this was an exceptional experience to be shown what the work in the villages is like, how it works, and really it was well, it was wonderful for me to experience this. Now, I was more or less asked to talk this morning about diversity. And so I think diversity in itself means not a lot, just that you have a variety of something. And in this case, that you have a society that can be home to as many different cultures, ideas, and initiatives, to enterprises, and even different religions. Now, why is this important? If you just look about you, I'm assuming that you're not all sitting alone in your house, but maybe in classrooms and all that. You see fellow college students and other people, and you will soon find out that all human beings are different in some way. All your college students are roughly the same age, probably reasonably well off. I'm just assuming that. They're probably also reasonably intelligent. I hope I can assume that. And still, everybody is different from all the others. No two people are the same. So it is very important to shape society so that it is a good shape, a good place for everybody to live in, not just for a happy few people who can shape the society to their needs, but for everybody. And that is, of course, what human rights are all about. Human rights are no more than the minimum that every person needs to exist and be truly a person in himself, and not just an extension of some other person. I think this is very important to remember. Of course, if you don't are not constantly vigilant in this, this can lead to inequality. It's quite well known, of course, that the economic inequality will lead to the richer people having power, exercise power over the lives of the people who have less. So that is one of the very important things to bear in mind when we talk about having a free society that allows everybody to be himself in his own right. So freedom can, in this respect, cannot be unlimited. There have to be rules and people have to abide by them. Which leads us to a very important question. Wouldn't it be better if everybody had the same needs, if everybody had the same news, if everybody spoke the same words, if everybody had the same shape and all that? Now, this is not not achievable at all because it is about powers out of our control, but still you can find out time and again, especially among big dictators, that is really what they are dreaming of. There is reputed to be one Roman emperor in around about the year 0, who is reputed to have said that he would wish his whole people to have one head so he could chop it off. And that is, of course, not the idea of a just society, far from it. But all dictators tend to move this, try to do the same, make the same mistake, and think that they can just shape the society so that there is only one people with one mouth, which they can easily control. Then, of course, there are other problems stemming from diversity. It's that you tend to disagree about what is best. Of course, everybody is rather prone to think that what is best for him is best for his neighbor as well. And that is not how the golden rule works. The golden rule works: do to others as you would want to do it as yourself, to be done to you. But this doesn't mean that you have no eye for the needs of that other person. His or her needs are bound to be different from yours. There is one more thing to say about diversity. It's not just that we have to accept it because it's there and that that conformity is inachievable, but it is also very beneficial in itself. I would imagine a world where nobody had an idea that nobody had ever had before. It's unthinkable. Economy thrives with people having new ideas, putting them into practice and selling them to other people. Trade and economy work like that. But also technical developments, of course. People will need to have completely new ideas now and again, and then others can take them, if they have an open mind, to develop them further and make those great ideas beneficial to society, which doesn't always happen. Sometimes a good idea is just left on the shelf because nobody else accepts it, and because they think it's crazy or because they think it's out of the box thinking, and out of the box thinking is not good for society. But that's not how it is. It is beneficial to society to think out of the box. Now, how to achieve this? I think let me move to my next piece of paper here. You need to want to learn, which is, of course, very important. To pick up new things, new ideas. I already said that. And there's one of the obstacles to picking up new ideas, for example, is the problem of stereotyping. If you think a person is dumb because of his age, because of his background, because he has not been at school, you will never accept his ideas, not even if they are good. So you have to be open to this. Now, to be open to new ideas is a skill that needs to be learned, but it can be learned. So you must not be put off. You must not be distracted. You shall have to pick up a new idea, to recognize it first, that it is new, to recognize that it is good, to judge, to make a judgment, fair judgment on it, and also to see its possibilities, know that a thing is explorable, that you can do something with it. So there are, to be a bit more practical about it, you can find endless things on the internet, but not everything is beneficial, as you no doubt all have found out. And one of the things is there are numerous YouTube lectures to help you, I think. Well, I don't know if they help you open up your mind, but if you look at them with an open mind, they're sometimes completely new to you, and they can open up a window for you to look through and see the views of other people. And knowing the views of other people will greatly help you to find peace with the others and with yourself eventually. Never ever forget your brains in this. You, you really need to think hard. And if something is unexpected or completely new and you don't know what to do with it, you can either leave it, but if you think there might be something in it, use your brains to find out whether it really is. It may, of course, clash with your own views, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The idea may be better than your own ideas. But you have to be very wary of the fact that having your own ideas, making up your own mind, can be something of a trap. You can get trapped in either your old or your new ideas. And once you're trapped, you tend to fix more and more on the one or the two principles that you hold high, and as if there is nothing else and no development at all. So know yourself is the other one that I'm sure you have heard before. You need to know yourself, and to know, not just to know what you hold high, not just to know what's good for you, but you need to know your own way of thinking, your own traps even. Once you are aware of those, I'm saying that because I've just said that you need to make this, that you need to train this. It's really something you can develop, and that is when you really have an open mind. I hope you're still following the big lines, but you need that open mind to keep the peace with everybody. You need to be able to see the other person's view, and you can only see their view if you understand it, and you can only understand it if you're not too fixed by your own thoughts. And now I think that is where religion may come in, because sometimes religions can be pretty fixed about high morals and high principles, but other times I think the best of religions is still in fact the open window that we all would long um, to look through. So apart from all the very good high standing things that we may learn from a religion that is taught, the open window that we want to look through is the ultimate truth, the ultimate happiness, and the ultimate peace for all mankind. Now, for those of you who would like to go exploring among the wide variety of peoples and cultures, anything you can find on the internet, who would go exploring for new ideas in philosophies and religions, who would like to see the new world in norms and values even, and of moral principles, to see a change to society, to see them adapt to the to new things that come along. All the adaptations that you have to make in the in to get along in the world and to develop the world to a better future. I think anybody who would like to go exploring what is now found in present day cities and what you can see and read on the internet, to all those people, I would say, by all means, if you do that, if you set out on such a voyage, keep an open mind to all that you see, but let it not overwhelm you. Let it not be too overwhelming so that you will switch off and not see anything new anymore. So all the good you find, take it in. The bad, leave it as soon as you can part with it. Never stop thinking. Never stop using your own judgment, but keep an open mind to your own ideas as well. Your values may need adjustment. The truth may not be fixed. The truth usually has more than one side, a side to it. See those sides as if the truth is one mirror that has been broken and now is in pieces. And all the pieces can reflect the whole image, but they usually don't. You usually just see a little part, and also that every part shines in a different direction. Your own better judgment that you reach with your brains, it may not always be best. So be wary of your own principles. But over and above all, be compassionate. Don't judge others when criticizing their deeds. Don't dismiss their values when they're different from yours. Be compassionate in all matters to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for your sharing, and which is completely very informative, and especially the values and the truth and the open-minded. What you said for the youngsters, really it is an eye-opening for us. And I request any of the participants, if you have any questions or any clarification, anything you want to discuss with Wytske, and you are always welcome.
If you have any question, you can put in the chat box. Otherwise, you can raise your hand. I can unmute you. I can unmute you. Girls.
Obviously, I would like to share that even Poppy Ma'am has organized one human rights program in their own college, in St. Anne's Women College. 2 years before, we had a HRE program in the college itself, the same college where you are talking now. So we had a program.
Okay, okay. That's good to know. Yes. Lovely. So if there are no questions to me, maybe I can ask a question of you. Since this is, sorry, there is a question now? Yeah?
Yeah,
No?
like
Yeah?
how the
Right.
student mindset should be there, ma'am. How the student mindset should be there, and
Yeah.
how the exact meaning of peace. Like everyone has their own definition of peace, right, ma'am? So, like, what you suggest what you suggest to a student, ma'am?
Okay. It's maybe two questions. So what should be the right mindset, and how can it achieve peace? I think I well the mindset that I call having an open mind is very much something. Well, maybe I've said too much about that already. Maybe I should call it a different, give it a different name. Of course, when you are in college, there's much more that you experience than just what you learn, what you are taught. You also engage in non-corona times. You also engage um, with other students much more than you were used to when you lived at home. You are maybe meeting boys in a different way for the first time. So you have to shape your mind to receive all the things and use them uh, for the good. But not everybody may come to the same conclusion. And I think when you're in college, you already find that out speaking to the person next to you. They will not be from your neighborhood, maybe, not from your street. You haven't seen them before. They have a different background. Their parents may have different views. So these children, these other fellow students, they don't know any other, they haven't had any other education than their parents has given them. You haven't had any other education than your parents have been giving you. So that may clash. Either you can approach that with the idea, how strange, how odd, this doesn't fit in with what I've been taught, and therefore it is bad. Or you can say, hey, that's interesting. Why are your views so different? And can we talk about it? Can we reach an agreement? Can we agree about what is the best? How do we fix it if we sit next to each other on the same desk? Maybe things are conflicting. One has been taught that it's all right to use the other's homework results, and the other has been taught never to do that. One has been strictly told to never use a lie, and another may have been taught that, well, when sometimes it's not too bad. All that kind of things. And you need to just discuss, and both sides need to be open to the other's view, and then you can come to an agreement. And that, in principle, is what the big idea is. well, only partly, but what the big of the idea of peace is about, and more, I would say, the kind of peace that we call harmony is all about that, engaging with others in peace and understanding, promote understanding. So that is what I would find the ideal mindset, and I understand that when you're young, you're very quick in your judgments and all that. You don't have the kind of patience that you would need to do that. But yeah, well, it can be developed. So that's it, I think. Is that more or less what the question was pertaining to?
I would like
Thank you,
to,
mom.
I
Yeah,
would like to ask something.
yeah, please.
Most of the participants are the youngsters, especially we have the participants of young girls.
Yeah.
So, can you just to share how the young people are?
Brother,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Can you share how the young people involved in peace activities in Netherlands? So that you can be, that may be helpful for the youngsters or in India.
ma'am, you are in mute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Ru, I have some experience of youth engaging in this way, but not a lot, regrettably, because my parents did not approve of youth camps in general. This had to do with their experiences during the Nazi occupation. And so what I haven't experienced it at that age myself. Seeing from what they do, in fact, or watching younger people, I would say that wherever you bring young people together from different backgrounds, they are already very much interested. Now, for maybe Brother Albert is referring to their social action things. Now, we do have a lot of opportunities in the Netherlands to approach people from government and all that. I'm not too sure if in your case or in your country the same opportunities exist. But for instance, there is on United Nations level, even there is a youth group that studies the goings on at the United Nations. That is so, well, student level, I would say, not very young people, obviously, because it's difficult material. But they that is a national thing. So I would imagine that mostly people join it through their schools or maybe through their parents if they are diplomats. Then there are, of course, a great many civil action groups on climate, on matters of disarmament. Used to be a lot. Also on environmental things that have not to do with the climate, so water and all that. Peace groups also, and and education groups. So there are also young people who want special things for students in education, and they are organizing themselves to petition the government on certain things. And I am very sure, so it's quite recently actually, our Prime Minister got got a petition, and he invited one of these groups just to talk about them, to understand more better what they are. Now, not every Prime Minister has time for everybody, but if you tap the right sources in the media, that is quite important nowadays, then it can be done. It's just from the top of my head what I'm doing at the moment. Thinking of another, well, more examples. Well, there's one very good initiative of by Sufi Muslim youths in the Netherlands, who want a new school system, sort of integrated school system for all beliefs, but which is aimed at creating peace. They are called, let me see, they're called AISA, and they're in quite a few countries. They're mostly in France, Switzerland, the Netherlands. So I'm afraid they are French speaking, which may be a bit of a problem. But they have in the Netherlands for sure. I can put you into contact with them, and they have an extremely a well-developed idea about founding these new kinds of schools. And I think that, well, they're already talking about a date when their first integrated school will actually happen, and so they've been, I think they've done it remarkably fast. I think about 4 years or so that they've been busy developing this, of course, with the experts. And Dutch law allows for this. So we have we have government schools, and we have also church schools, and there is a third strand of independent idealistic schools. And there's a law that says that as long as there are sufficient parents to who want to send their children to that school, then it can be founded. Of course, you have to find the right funds and all that, and there are requirements if you want government subsidies, which is mostly needed. Then you need to meet requirements, but that's all, you know, they're pedagogical requirements. So it is, where I live, it is possible. Yeah. More?
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. I read a chat, in the chat. I read, ma'am, often less or no wars are taken to mean peace, but the concept of inner peace is ignored. I'm afraid I must take this to heart, because I have not yet talked about that very much. I have talked about your inner mind, your mindset, but not about reaching inner peace. Of course, we would mostly regard that as being a religious topic, but it doesn't entirely need to be religious. I think you can reach inner peace by your attitude, by adjusting your attitude to the outside world as well, if you want to. So depending on whether your religion teaches inner peace, depends very much on the religion, how they think it is achieved. It's a bit too much to elaborate on that. Is that, I hope that's more or less satisfying. And the next question is, what is my take on dealing with trauma or sudden periods when trauma hits you? How should one handle, or how should others react to help someone undergoing that period of trauma? Now, I can take that again, how you take that from your various religions is up to you, I would say. I cannot decide that for you. But to give a very secular approach, I would say that it is in my final remark about compassion. So be compassionate not only to the other person, but to yourself as well. So more often than not, you think you need to be strong, and indeed sometimes you do have to be strong, but also allow yourself periods, however brief they may be, periods in which you allow yourself to let your tears flow, to be kind on yourself, not to ask too much of yourself. Maybe don't be hard on yourself when you fail school after a trauma. And I sincerely hope that your surroundings will be as compassionate with you as you need to be compassionate with yourself. It doesn't always happen at the same time, but I'm sure you can find compassion in another time, maybe. Yeah.
Any other clarification from the participants?
Clear, sir.
Yes.
Somebody wanting to say something, or was this a different remark? Let me see if I, yeah?
Since you are represented from IARF to United Nations, so most of these young girls, they are working for peace and women's studies, especially doing research on women's problem and the women empowerment in India. So will they get an opportunity to visit you and to talk about the women problems in India?
Right. Let me switch my mind back to, we had a very good conference, online conference also in the spring in the European in the European region of IARF, and we had especially a women's forum. I think at the moment we tend to focus on education of women. It is, of course, in the countries in where in the region of IARF, Europe, the women's opportunities.
ILRW?
Sorry?
Is it a IARF women wing, no? ILRW?
Oh, IARW. What are they doing at the moment? They are mostly exploring the interface aspect. So it's not social action that they are taking. And I'm afraid that, and international in the United Nations, they tend to focus on violence against women. So to prevent that, and of course there is a lot to do for the separate states to ensure the safety of all their citizens equally, and they sort of are blind to that. And also it's not just domestic violence. In some countries in Europe, Albania for instance, there is a big issue with violence, domestic violence against women, who are also very much um, shunned from society almost. You hardly see women without a male companion on the streets anywhere, and not in public life, and not in governments either. So that's even an issue in some parts of Europe. But United Nations at the moment focuses mostly on violence against women. But the thing is, states will very much, like with religious freedom, they think that if it is set in the law that it's forbidden to either make an infringement on religious freedom, or that it's forbidden to beat your wife, to to make it plain, then that's all, then they have done their bit. And of course, responsible government needs to do much more. And that is something that needs to be pinpointed by the people themselves, because that is not something that the United Nations can do. um, United Nations anyhow is only a government organization. Is basically it's a government organization, and governments coming together to agree what is the right policy. So they're not very likely to pick up issues like domestic violence, or violence to women in the wider society, rape, uh, all that sort of thing. Still, specific protection for women is a duty of any state, and it comes as much as under the state duties as any mugging or robbery or open, bank robbery is. It is an issue that states need to deal with. And if they do that insufficient, then they can be held to account in the UPLR process that I'm sure that you are aware of. Yeah, well, you have taught human rights, so you know. But that is the universal periodic reviews of any government anywhere in the world, any member state of the United Nations, I mean. So it is governments holding other governments to account um, on the issues of human rights. So that is a very important thing. This review is periodical, so it comes up every now and again. I haven't had time to look up when the next one for India is coming up, but if you want to enter that process, the women's groups, I'm sure many of them are aware that they can submit reports to um, to the United Nations bodies, and that is definitely something that IARF could help with, because we have advisory status. If we have good reports, we can try to find allies for a certain issue. And if we have sufficient allies, which is um, not happening just like that, we have to work on that very hard, then we have an option of bringing it into the UPR process. But that is, most of the time you will be a decade later, 10 years at the minimum before you reach that. And before that, you have different opportunity of raising the issues on side events, and also the more active governments and more active allies will just pick your report up during the side events already. So when they are aware there's a new issue, they will pick it up, make the report known wider, maybe even get their own governments interested or their own parliaments and work it that way. And it will be probably quicker than through the United Nations. So it's something you have to work every level at the same time, mostly starting maybe with the media, but there are quite a few issues on this subject in the media already, so everybody is aware of it. So that's the first step, and then just getting more and more reports. And yeah, just gather data. That's it. Yeah. Is that for the time being sufficient answer? Yeah. And we can talk about it later, but I'm sure that at the IALRW that Esther Suter, who is also still in the council, I believe, is she? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she is. She will be very willing to inform you what steps to take, and she will also be willing to take it up with other women's organizations if she's very much into women's social action. So any letter to IARF HQ will reach Esther Suter in the end if you address it, if you want to address it to her. Yeah. Little bit more.
In the chat box, there are no questions, but so much of
Really?
thanking messages. Yes, the talk is very amazing. So, yes.
yeah, that's good. Thank you that you write it out here. You read it out for me, because I could not very well do that myself. I was looking for questions, really. Yeah. So do we? I don't know how we are for time. I think we've been nearly an hour, all in all. Yeah. If I don't know if you expected me to go into the subject of religious peace and harmony more, maybe.
Do we have a time, Ms. Poppy?
I don't know. Do we have the time?
Can we take like 5 minutes? 5 minutes will be not enough, I guess.
Okay. No, it will not be enough. But so of course, many religions will have a certain path of learning, and well, I think nearly all of them have, where you not just learn about your religion, but mostly about yourself and the obstacles of reaching, that keep you from reaching both inner and outer harmony. That is a religious thing, and it is really amazing that if all these religions have this path, that there is still so much difference, and that is because especially organized religion, but really every religion needs to adapt to the surrounding of its believers. So in the process of religion being adopted by a certain people, they have to adapt it to suit their own needs. I will give you a very, very, very small example. I'm a Christian, and when I read the Bible, there are lots of metaphors about deserts and things being too dry and rain being a good thing. Now, in my country, that's on the face of it, it's really ridiculous. There's never, we don't have deserts in the sense that there's a lack of water. We have problems with excess water, and we're not particularly pleased when it's raining again. So, but we can develop our own metaphors about ships, about floods, about storms at sea, and all that. They're okay, they're not in the Bible, but we have those religious metaphors. We have them develop themselves to our own needs. And I think wherever we do that, they tend to clash. I mean, if this was a more deeper subject, then you could easily meet someone from the Middle East who says, no, this is not ridiculous at all. This talk about desert, it works for me, you know. And what is a sea anyhow? There are loads of people in all the world who have never seen a sea, who don't know what a proper coast is. They know the banks of rivers. All that is what shapes a religion, what makes it good, but it is also its pitfall. And that is, a lot of that creates the religious disharmony or even religious persecution. Yeah, I think maybe leave it at that. And if we want to talk about it, make it next year's subject, maybe. But it is a very hot topic, religious conflict, of course, but it needs different experts as well, I think, not just me. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much for the interesting talk. It is
Thank you.
like students also, I hope they have enjoyed your talk. And as they said, it is very amazing talk and it is very useful for the students.
Well, I was extremely happy to be here, and so good to renew my my ties with India. And I hope to be visiting one day, but we'll have to wait to wear out the storm with the COVID and all that before it's possible. But I promise you I will look keep in touch and keep looking for an opportunity. And thank you very much for having me. Goodbye.
Thank you. Now I request Ms. Surendra sir, do you want to speak? Yes. Sir, if you want to speak, you can, yes.
Me? You're asking
Yes.
me? Oh,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Brother Albert is my friend, and for informing about this webinar. And I was very eager to hear Wytske. We have worked together here, and
Yes.
IRF is really looking for this type of activities. Now we are having the shortage of this type of activities all over the globe, but it is more needed. I appreciate the efforts done by the college and appreciate the patience of the students. They are hearing good things. That's very important for the society, the young people. It was a very, very important time for the whole society. So I congratulate you people for organizing this webinar and having a person like Wytske of international repute in this webinar. And her message was very important, very practical, and very informative also society. So thank you, Wytske. Thank you, brother. I congratulate you for organizing this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Miss Olivia to deliver vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. First of all, I am thanking you all for joining in this session. The session seemed to be very interactive and cooperative. I thank Reverend Wytske Dijkstra, IARF representative and our speaker of the day for the informative session, and Brother Albert Xavier, President of Gnosis, and Poppy Devinath, Center for Women's Studies, St. Anne's College for Women, Hyderabad, for organizing this webinar. And I thank Dr. Surendra Brown for joining with us. Once again, I thank all of you for joining in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, once again.
Thank you. And goodbye. Shall I leave now? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wave
Thank you
to
so much.
everybody. Bye. Ja. Daar gaan we.
The feedback.
Doen we nog een keer.
I think this feedback form, the limit is over. It is 100 limit. You can do tomorrow. Per day limit is over. You can fill it tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'll end this meeting here.